Okay, Eric, you just finished watching the third episode of the third season of Black Mirror.
Yes, we did. Also, this marks our third podcast ever.
You sure?
Yeah.
They're totally official and not spread out by weeks or
Months.
totally no structure or anything.
So, did we say the title of the episode?
Shut Up and Dance is
Shut
the
Up
title.
and Dance. I didn't, throughout the episode, I was wondering what the title meant and what sort of importance it had to the story, because Nosedive, the first episode of season 3, had a very
Continue.
had a very clear had a clear link to the story,
Yeah, you could sort of apply that Shut Up and Dance thing to where it's like, just do the fuck we say kind of
like Dance Monkey.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
So without spoiling other episodes, that's probably one of the darkest fucking endings.
Yeah.
To one of those shows. And spoiler alert, just for this, because otherwise, what's the point of talking about it if you can't spoil the whole reveal and the whole how it kind of goes down.
Yeah, it's not really possible to discuss Black Mirror without spoiling some part of it.
You're always just revealing the twist or whatever. So just your thoughts, man. What's going through your head on that?
I had no idea what was coming. I thought that he was gonna I don't know. I thought that he was gonna get away, or that things were gonna be all right, because at the beginning, under the impression that he just kind of
you just think he wanked it to just whatever.
Yeah,
and it's more that he's just filmed, stuff. Not what it's about or anything. Just that he's just a kid. He doesn't want to get
that's what he tells everyone.
Yeah, watching it a second time, there is some things where it's okay. I mean, you'll notice this too if you ever watch it again. But right in the very beginning, he's working at that fast food place.
Yeah.
And he picks up a toy and gives it to those kids.
Oh my god.
And he kind of he looks at them a little too long, and it's not a big deal the first time.
That's so creepy.
Okay. I've noticed 5 throughout the whole episode. So there's one where it's that, and then another time he goes back to the table and he sees the little pictures they've been drawing, and he's kind of looking at them, and the chick at work is hey, and he's just oh yeah. So that, and there's a few key things that other people say where it's oh, I got to get my kids to school, or oh, I got young kids, I can't lose my kids, and then he just bursts out crying, and it's there's all these
you don't
weird
realize
little,
why.
Jesus fuck.
Oh my god, I didn't even realize that.
I remember just when I realized it's basically not until the very end do you really realize
what
that because the guy doing. Even where it's they're fuck the levels that different people were put to.
Yeah.
He had to rob a bank and all this stuff, but he almost he was almost murdered by another dude.
And I wonder what the sort of
who the fuck did that even? There's so many questions.
Yeah, what would happen if he if he didn't if he died robbing the bank or something, if something happened,
all these
how does
variables
the plan continue?
Yeah.
Did they just get someone else?
I figure it's it's less to do with them really trying to get them to do anything and more putting them through this ordeal, where in his case specifically it's what would you do to hide the fact that you're a pedophile basically?
Yeah.
And he killed someone.
What lengths will you go to?
Robbed a bank, essentially killed
held
someone out of
out
of self-defense too, but he killed a dude basically, and that was you didn't think that kid was gonna live through that either. It's
oh, this
kid's gonna get beat to death by this lanky guy.
But it's funny too because there's the different tiers of what the people did.
And you don't know everyone's thing, but it's safe to assume that dude, the whatever his name was, the husband, he was just gonna have sex with a 20-year-old prostitute or something like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't probably that bad. He's cheating on his wife, but he wasn't into underage kids in that sense or anything.
Yeah. It's almost they were, I mean, not to say that prostitution and and
that's
cheating on your wife isn't bad.
It isn't? Sorry.
But no, it's like the tiers of how, like, of how kind of
It's almost like whatever you did, that's your punishment anyway. It's just that comes out.
yeah.
So it's like,
And then on top of that, but I found it funny that the two people who were kind of at the crux of it,
yeah,
because they were kind of the end game of it, like they
Yeah.
were the last sort of
Yeah,
part
yeah,
of it,
yeah.
was to have two people who looked at child porn like fight each other to the death.
yeah,
And like it's interesting that they're both like there because of that, you know?
Yeah.
Like I don't think that's a coincidence.
it's not like it could have been the moped guy who knows what he was doing, or like
Yeah.
that it would have involved like the father figure guy, because like, you know, it wouldn't have made sense to have him that like extreme, you know, like end. Yeah. So yeah, it feels like it's structured that way for a reason, but like again, it's like, who are these people? It's
Yeah.
kind of great that you don't
You
know at
never
all.
figured
They're
out.
so faceless.
Yeah.
And just the troll face at the end where it's like, you're just like, oh fuck. Like,
But it's funny because like the troll face is so, like, it's so used now, like overused, like
Yeah,
years
yeah.
ago, right? Like nowadays it's not really frightening at all. So like when you see it, you're like, oh yeah, like. But when you see it in this show, you see that they basically just think of this whole thing as like a joke, like.
yeah.
Like this is not serious at all. Like it's like they're taking the sort of justice of like these crimes that people don't really find out about basically into their own hands.
Yeah.
And they find ways to
Yeah, however you figure like who would do it and why, it's definitely like almost like it felt like an anonymous kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
just these crazy tech savvy, highly, you know, motivated people.
yeah.
And who knows like what the end game of those, like the footage of that and stuff, like pictures were being taken of people.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
I think
you could
it's
go into it forever because there's so little like knowledge, you
Yeah.
know, in terms of like what it, you know,
but I definitely think
leaves
that
a lot to the imagination.
like but it's always it's interesting with the motive of those people, because you could just take the information that like those things that those people did and then just like hand it over to the police and just be like, here you go, because that's
Yeah.
inevitably what they do. But
Yeah.
they don't do that. They take it a step further and they kind of like have fun before they do that, just
Yeah.
to fuck with them. And like sure you could validate, like at the end I'm sure that Kenny could be like, hey, look at all these texts that I've got.
Yeah, of course.
Like
he would definitely say all that to the cops.
yeah.
And they might be like, oh, apparently there's some like weird revenge like internet people. But
Yeah.
they're like, but mostly we found a pedophile. High five. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's like it wouldn't take precedent over, you know.
Like he's still going to jail, which
Yeah.
is yeah.
Yeah, and his life is fucked.
Yeah.
It's so sad because like it's weird how much you feel bad for him, and then you're like, oh, he's a pedophile, and you're like, but he's also like, he's like a teenager pedophile, which is totally not like a thing that you sort of normally associate
You're not
with.
used yeah, it's always like
You think it's like an old man.
It's
like
never
a creepy,
portrayed that way.
Creepy old dude.
Yeah.
It's like this dude was like, he's still technically just probably like 15 or 16 or something like that.
So when you think about it, depending on like I don't know how the law works, but he probably wouldn't get as severe sentence as if he were older, like
That's
19,
probably true, yeah.
But at the same time, he's totally boned.
Oh, he's so
Like-
fucked otherwise, yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if he's getting like a certain length of sentence, like his identity now is just that.
And yeah, it's
I
just
think too, when I was watching it, I was like, I immediately go like, oh, like so many people must have secrets that they would do shit like that over. Like the
Everyone.
average person is like, yeah, everyone's got some weird sort of baggage and secrets and stuff, but there's some people who
have
would
real
kill to protect the things they've done, or you know,
yeah.
like that's what's kind of stuck with me.
And just the fact that yeah, like you're put so much in his headspace
Yeah.
that you sympathize with him so heavy, and
Yeah.
with the end of it you feel sort of torn because you basically realize that you sympathize with this person who was like a pedophile
Yeah.
for like the entire time, and like even though you didn't know it,
Yeah. Yeah.
you still feel like you
This is the thing too. Like I was talking to someone else at work about this, and I was like, I was like, yeah, I mean, you feel so bad for him, and this guy was like, yeah, until the second you realize a pedophile, and then you realize like, fuck this guy, and I'm like, yeah, but at the same time, like, what
it humanizes him.
Yeah, like they're people. Like everyone's just people.
Yeah.
You know, and like if you just want to see it straight up as like, oh yeah, fuck this guy was a monster. Everything coming to him. It's like then you sort of miss the point because it's like they trick you into feeling bad for the person that you normally wouldn't.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like oh, does it change at all now? Like everything that kid went through because he like looked at a thing. Like he didn't necessarily ruin anyone's life or anything.
No, but
he used like the technology of today to like kind of do a thing that's fucked up.
It's
like,
still fucked up.
It's still
like,
fucked up.
Even though we can be like, yeah, like he just looked at porn. It's like it's still
it's still so messed up.
No, but like yeah, and it's funny though. Yeah, it's true. Like does it retroactively? And it does. It changes your opinion. It makes you be like it. This guy kind of deserves it.
And I remember watching it like the second time. Like you feel bad for him, but you're also like you're like I know what you are kind of thing the whole time.
Yeah.
Like while I was watching, I was like, yeah, just like I don't know. It's weird. I guess it really depends on your kind of empathy of people and shit like that. But like, it's fuck, man.
And there's also a lot of stuff that you don't know about the people. Like if this was like a regular thing for all of them, you know.
That's the thing too. It's so much of a small excerpt or whatever from like what they you don't know what they normally would do or like exactly what you said. It's like, is this the first time he's ever done it? Has he done it like 50 times? Like you don't know at all.
Yeah.
And it necessarily doesn't really, you know.
It doesn't matter almost. No. Like, yeah, but
that episode reminded me a lot of the White Bear one, where it's like the chick goes through this like hyper elaborate, basically repeating torture hell like designed by all these people in the form of like sort of like entertainment and like a warning sign to other people who commit crimes. But she essentially like took part in like what ended up being like the death of like a little girl.
Right.
And she's like eternally tormented. And in those people's minds, like in that show, in that episode, they're like, oh, it's like not only is it justified, but it's like you should be able to enjoy how much she's suffering.
Yeah.
So like I feel like those two episodes have a lot in common in terms of like, yeah, just like I feel like the show sort of says like, yeah, is there a limit to like how much like someone that commits what we kind of perceive as a crime or whatever, like how much can you torture them before it's like we're becoming the monsters in a sense? Like that's what it feels like it's sort of saying, but I don't know.
Yeah, that was a good episode though.
For sure.
Also I still got we're gonna figure out who this kid is.
Okay. We could also bail on this review and just go to other things. Could just start as that.
We can just continue on.
Exactly. With our lives.
With our lives? Oh no.
No, I don't mean like we can just continue on with our lives.
Oh, okay,
I was just, like move forward. So specifically, what are you doing in life,
God.
Erik?
Both of
Erik, whose address is the following address: 123 Fake Street.
$%.
$.
It's a reference to a video I made a while back.
Okay.
No one will ever watch because they can't find it. I hope.
Well, I'm not.
Please don't look
this.
for it. Yeah, but it's.
Oh, I found out something today.
What's that?
I'll tell you a quick story as you're looking that up. So I had this like idea for like an invention like a long time ago, where it's like Tetris, but in the form of. And I had a couple ideas. I was like, how can you make Tetris like a non-electric format of Tetris? So I was thinking like you could have like wood blocks that fell down like a kind of a thing and all this stuff. And then I was thinking and I had these like games when I was a kid. You might remember these too. We had these like weird little kind of plastic, you know, like cellophane, like clear plastic cellophane, kind of like this.
Yes.
You can write like wipe-offable pens on it.
Yeah.
And there'd be like mazes and stuff you could put under those, and it'd be like kind of a scroll thing that when you turned it, it would kind of wipe off, and it would just have like one sheet that kind of like. Anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember having those as a kid, but like I feel like you might have seen them. Anyway, the idea was you get like a grid pattern behind that, and you have like a little spinny thing that tells you which Tetris block to use, and then you basically, I threw it away probably, but I had a little piece of paper I was just drawing Tetris blocks in.
Yeah.
I'm like, how could you make like just like a almost like a written kind of like pen and paper version of Tetris and make it like fun?
Yeah.
So I was thinking of that, and I had thought about that for a while, and like never came about. And then I was looking at like some Transformers website today, and they were talking about like some Hasbro thing where it's like, oh, send in your inventions and ideas for like toys and stuff. But basically, bottom line, it's like, but we won't give you anything. It's just like, give us all your ideas, basically. Yeah. And I was like, oh, well, that's stupid. I almost
they're
looked
like,
into it.
You can be known as the person who made it.
Yeah. But all the fine print's like, yeah, you won't like own any of this, or we don't owe you anything. I'm like, well, fuck you.
Yeah.
So
I
just happened to look up the thing again with the Tetris thing. I'm like, oh yeah, like mechanical Tetris. And then it was like, there's this toy that came out a fucking long time ago, probably made by Hasbro, because they also own the rights to Tetris, and that's what the whole thing I was looking into or something.
Oh.
Or they had made Tetris toys in the past.
Yeah.
Basically, find this video on YouTube of like this toy that is like a Tetris game that it almost like Connect 4, where there's like a thin pane where you actually get little Tetris pieces and they drop down. And it's all electronic, and like electronic music is playing, like the Tetris song is playing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll show you some other time, but like,
that's so cool.
And
though.
It's got a time limit where you're trying to fit the pieces in, but the whole thing is like, where in my idea with the pen and paper thing, when you fill the bottom line, you crank it once and it removes the bottom line.
Right.
This one, like, there's no system of it kind of deleting any things, probably because it's too complicated. Yeah. So you just slowly fill up the thing in a certain amount of time, and that's the game. Huh. But seeing that, I was like, oh, that's like 500 times better than my idea, and it was done probably like years and years and years ago.
Yeah.
I'm like, I came to a conclusion that like no idea like from my brain will ever be like not already thought of and created by someone else. It's like I had such like a depression for like an hour after that.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's my quick story about that thing I invented and someone else invented, and then I'm not gonna invent anymore.
Yeah. I don't really.
You find out who that kid was?
Yeah, let's figure it out. His name's Alex Lothar. He's an actor. He was in.
Are you sure it's not Lex Luthor?
No. He looks familiar as crap. Let's see. Oh.
From a thing?
He plays a young Alan Turing in the Imitation Game.
Oh, okay.
That's who he is. He's the one who, who's like, I don't want to say.
He's not the main guy, is he?
He's the young boy.
He's.
But yeah, he's the main guy.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that the same thing as like the Turing test and all that?
Yeah.
Where it's like, really?
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
He plays him when he's a kid, and his spoilers, his friend kinda dies, and yeah, so that's what he's from.
Didn't want to know spoilers, Eric. Never seen that movie before.
I'm sorry, it's
Just
not
kidding.
a big deal.
I heard that movie's really good though.
It is. It's pretty good.
Does it bring up like, I read about like that he was like gay, and basically at the time it's like, oh, you're like a criminal, you criminal. So let's like euthanize you or something.
Yeah, they basically they
castrate or whatever
they
it's
didn't
called.
give him like
Didn't they like chemically castrate him or something crazy like that?
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Fucking crazy.
It's like something so you can.
That's fine.
Move it if you want. It's.
Oh, this comes out a little bit. No, it's good.
They basically like used chemicals to just like take
his
hormones,
libido away or whatever.
Yeah, I forget what it was, but yeah, but Alan Turing's actually pretty cool. He basically created the the prototype for like modern computers, and
so fucking crazy.
And like the basically computers used to be called Turing machines.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they were called Turing machines because I don't know how it worked, but he basically just like simplified the ones and zeros, and he compacted computers and basically like made them. And I think there were some other people at the time who were working on something similar, but he basically was like the forefront of computers, and also the Turing test, which I think has still not been.
You might have to scooch up a bit, Eric. Sorry to cut you off.
The Turing test, he was the creator of that, and somehow it still stands. I forget how long ago he made that up, but
It's weird, like, until someone made a movie of that, like, no one fucking really, not the general public,
No, yeah.
you know, knows who that person is or how important that person was to history.
Yeah.
Kind of bugs me how it takes, like, a movie to be like, oh, yeah, like, fucking, not Walt Disney, but some other dude, you know, where it's
Yeah.
like, fucking the guy who created whatever, or, yeah, this Turing guy, where it's like, all these people's lives that,
Like, you hear about him, like, once, but you don't really think about him. I mean, that's true with most influential people, though. You
That's
know
true.
them for, like, one thing, and then you just kind of forget about all these other parts of their lives. One good example that's not necessarily movies is Alexander Hamilton, which was recently in, I forget how many years ago it was, Lin-Manuel Miranda made a Broadway play album about him. But he
what
learned...
did he do?
Alexander Hamilton, he basically was, you know, he's on the $10 bill, I think, the $10 US bill. And
Really?
he was born like a penniless orphan, and he basically, like, it's like the most, like, amazing achievement of a single person in, like, history. Like, it's so amazing what he went from to how he basically became I think George Washington's right-hand man.
Holy shit.
And just basically he was just like, he's such a good writer too. And he just, like, he stirred so much like drama and just got people talking. And but basically there was this biography of Hamilton, and Lin-Manuel Miranda read that and was like, hey, this kind of, like, mirrors modern, like, hip hop, like, rising, like,
Really?
rising from, like, the bottom. And so he's like, yeah, like, this could work as, like, a hip hop / Broadway album. And then it turned into a play, and, you know,
Weird,
here we are.
crazy.
But yeah,
Starring who?
himself. I don't know if that was his choice. I
He's
feel
back from the dead. He's Hamilton
well,
something.
not the actual Hamilton. Yeah, no, but
It's his second greatest achievement is coming back from the dead. His first greatest achievement is that Broadway thing that you're talking about.
yeah.
It's good times.
But before that, like, he was, like, nobody really, like, apart from a few historians, like, nobody really
It's so fucking weird.
knew about him. And now he's, like, a household name, except for, like, Jeff, who doesn't really know who he is.
Other famous Jeffs? Jeff Bridges? Jeff who lives at home?
Lebowski.
Yeah. Both the two things we said.
Yeah.
What else is a topic?
Topic.
Possibly a hot topic.
Um,
Do you what you done lately?
I want to get a
Moving
bike.
on. Wait, what? You have a what? You want to get a bike?
Yeah, I want to get a bike.
A bicycle?
Yeah.
You should get one.
I wanted to get a tandem bike because my girlfriend really wants. Well, I don't know. Not having a car. It's not a super huge town, so you just kind of, you can get around. But I just want to, like, leave the house.
Yeah.
And just
At a
hop on.
pace that's not slow as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, something that I don't want to ride the bus. Like,
Yeah.
riding the bus is fine. Don't get me wrong. Riding the
Right.
bus is awesome and cheap and so ergonomic. More people should do it. But
Don't you have a bike at home?
I do.
Oh, really? Why don't you just get Dad to bring a bike?
Because how? Or I don't
Well,
know. Like,
just in the car or
he
something.
could. But I also kind of wanted to get a new one because mine's all
You
small
should.
now.
I'd even offer the one that Dad gave me, but it's like something happened. I can't describe what, but like something is
break
wrong
it?
with it. No, it's fine. But I think like something about it
If
is
Dad ever listens to this,
something about it is like bent or something, or the chain is like I just gotta like I don't know how to do anything, so like I don't know how to like make a bike good again when it's like getting
it
not
might be
rusty. But
I think it might be like misaligned because I know that Dad.
yeah, I think it's slightly off, or the wheel that's spiky, the gear thing,
Yeah.
that's like bent a tiny
the
bit.
spiky gear thing.
I wish I could say that I'm making fun of like my lack of knowledge for the sake of being funny, but yeah, that's the best I had at the moment. I don't know.
Well,
stuff
I
about-
don't know how to correct you. Like, I'm just laughing at the both of us having no
You're
idea
like,
what we're
I don't know what's
talking
right, but that's probably wrong.
Yeah, that's like most of my arguments when people are like, yeah, like, isn't this correct? I'm like, I don't know the real answer, but that sounds wrong.
Yeah, we'll go with not that thing you said.
And somehow that makes me more right than you, which is kind of,
Okay,
unfair.
I'm gonna show you a quick picture, and like you might not even think it's funny.
Okay.
And it's not so much the words that it is, but this just like I can't look at this without like with a straight face, or it'll make me laugh like harder. It's just this dog. Like to me, that's
I feel like it's
the funniest fucking thing ever.
If we ever get the budget to throw to a thumbnail or throw to a picture on these podcasts, we'll do that.
Just imagine a picture of that meme where the person's squishing the dog's face into a smile, but the dog looks like a little bit like part of me thinks
his eyes are brown M&Ms.
He looks fake. Like he looks like a scary meme that would be like like a creepypasta.
It has to be photoshopped.
It might be,
but
right?
It's not. I don't think it is.
This is if you cover your thumbs like that, it looks more like a normal dog. You can sort of picture that there's a real dog. But there's something about his eyes. They're so like
white circles
they're
around.
They're so like forward facing. Like I don't know.
It has to be photoshopped.
Yeah, there's something wrong with that. Anyway.
Okay, let's tell stories about like random things that we've done. I don't know, cause like most of the time people will just be like, hey, last week I went to this and like it was pretty cool.
Yep.
That's what podcasts are. It's just people talking about themselves.
That's true. But some people that are famous, they actually like do stuff like they're famous things.
They're like, yeah, I went to this concert,
or musicians or stuff.
Yeah.
I'll have daydreams where I'm like, I could go on one of these guys' podcasts I listen to, and I'm like, I'd just be like the one freak who's just like normal and does nothing.
And like isn't talking like the whole time.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I could talk like nonstop with someone, but I'd just be like either listening to them or reacting to things they say.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to come up with a lot of stuff. I find that in a lot of conversations with like even like you and like other people I work with and friends and stuff, like I start to like verbatim say opinions that I've heard, and I'm like, oh, I'm just like, do I even have original thoughts anymore? I just like really like listening to these people talk about stuff, so I like say their opinions almost. Or I'm just like,
it's so weird, and like especially it's the whole like nature versus nurture thing, and it's such a hard part for me at least of growing up and finding things that you're actually interested in. Because I was talking with like my girlfriend yesterday about how the fact that we dislike or like bands completely because our dads liked or disliked them.
Right.
And like how much influence. Sorry.
It's okay. You just might pick up on the mic. I was like doing a thing.
How much?
Sorry. Go ahead.
How much
ADD.
like how much influence like figures in your childhood have on like things that you feel and think.
Oh, it's so true. Yeah. Like
and there's nothing you can do about it, but it
not to like jump to like a really obvious like topic, but like I was thinking a lot about like that in terms of like religion the other day, because it's the religion talk now. Yay, everybody. But like
no, it's just like that is the jump.
But like it's like I was telling someone like that if you grow up in like a Catholic home, say, then you're gonna sort of just naturally have that. Like for most people, they're gonna be like, yeah, I kind of relate to like Catholic values and stuff like that. Same with like what you're talking about with like music or like movies or whatever.
Yeah.
Where it's like, your dad really likes this like band, or he kind of suggested to at a young age, and you kind of listen to it. Then it's like that's what you like, but you kind of like it mostly only because of what they kind of told you about it or how they feel about it.
Yeah.
You kind of like it, like you said. I forgot what I was saying. I might be having a stroke. Hold on. Okay, go ahead.
It might be, like
I like talking too much, so
it's
sometimes I just gotta stop.
It's the...
Oh, can I play with that string?
Yeah.
It'll give me something to like kind of shut me up while I listen to your thoughts about stuff.
I'll jingle these keys in front of the mic while I'm talking.
Can I have those keys?
No.
Okay, no,
Jingly keys.
Jingly keys.
No, but yeah, it's crazy, and it's not necessarily like, I think it's also dependent on you. It's not just if your parents, like, we're doing Cat's Cradle right now. It's not just if your parents like...
Do you go like this?
Yeah.
Sweet, I haven't done this in so long. What do you do at this point?
You do pinky, a pinky under,
Yeah.
and then
What does that
through,
do?
and then you pinch it like it's an upside down. Sure, no,
No, go like this?
and then down.
Oh, that's pretty sweet. Oh, that's awesome. And then just do that forever?
I think so.
We're on the Scottish flag right now.
I think this messed up. Oh no, we did the weird one.
Okay, it's doomed.
So yeah, but it's dependent on you, because when you grow up, there's those people that totally disagree with their parents, and they're like, hey, yeah, like screw your opinion, like I like the Beatles, like haha, you know, like
You got like priest dad, and you're like, fuck the thing that you stand for.
yeah, like people get, you know, kids get rebellious.
Yeah.
But I never really kind of hit that phase.
No.
I just kind of the worst of it that I got was I just, for a brief puberty moment, just didn't find dad very funny.
Really?
Like, it came in like a wave, and for like
Or you just
for
like
a couple
all of a
of
sudden
years,
you get like sick of
everything's-
the jokes that like
Yeah.
you've heard over and over again.
and just like I just became so bitter, and yeah, but it's, you know,
You know what I think that is too? It's like, I think that when you're growing up, and like depending on your situation, like some people have like really fucked up childhoods and like home lives and stuff.
Yeah.
I always feel like we have this pretty like great one, and everything is pretty great, and like it's not perfect, but it's like
it's
you know,
very regular.
it's pretty ideal. And it's, yeah, exactly.
It's
But
very normal.
I was gonna say, like, what seems to happen is like you kind of realize that like your parents are like kind of like just as normal as everyone else,
Yeah.
and like what you think of is just like this like super person that was just like the funniest and like smartest person. You're just like, oh, they're just like, you know, they're like everyone else. They get like into these sort of, they tell the same things again, and they like
They forget what they're talking about. They have friends. Like, yeah, like when you hang out with your friends and your parents talk to their parents.
yeah.
You're like, oh yeah, like this is weird. I guess all parents talk to each other and that's like a thing, but you forget that your parents are just like grown up us.
Yeah,
and that, like,
that's the
they
major.
also have like best friends and stuff.
That's the major takeaway
It's-
from like growing up. That it seems like one of those obvious things, but it's like, oh, everyone isn't. It's not like you're a kid and then you become this adult that just kind of has everything figured out.
Yeah.
You like everyone is like part of that kid they were
And
growing
you're
up.
slowly learning everything.
And I find like just from dealing with a lot of people in like public like jobs, like customer service jobs and stuff, like so many people are not like doing that great, or they seem
Yeah.
pretty like not together, and you're like, oh, you can like just never figure it out, and that's like what life is for you, like,
Yeah.
and you sort of
and
don't
that's
ever
sort
figure
of
it out.
okay as well. Like
Yeah,
some
yeah.
people, like I know that some people, I don't know, and I don't want to.
That's the illusion, is that you can actually figure anything out.
Yeah.
It's just one thing after another.
It's just kind of to keep us like wanting more, and
Yeah.
like we kind of want to have things figured out so we don't have to keep like aimlessly wandering. But the truth is you kind of have to, and you kind of hunger for it almost, and you don't really know that you hunger for it. But
Some deep shit.
yeah.
Here you go.
let's do some more Cat's Cradle.
This is enjoyable
Oh,
for
I can.
everyone.
Do you know I can do it myself?
Really?
Yeah. Do you want to check it out?
Sure.
Just to cut you out of the equation. Okay.
Wow.
So I haven't done it.
Oh, that was cool. Oh, sorry.
Oh, jeez.
Man.
Trademark. All right. So you put your thumbs through like this, and then you release everything, and you. Oh wait, shit. Just wait. I gotta try it again.
That was really impressive,
thanks.
probably.
Wow, Lex, that's really something.
What's that?
That's from Superman Returns.
I was watching old SpongeBob the other day.
How?
And, well, on Netflix.
That's not old SpongeBob.
Well, the thing
that's
is
season 5.
I was
I
looking-
haven't even seen those
I
episodes.
was looking at seasons 5 and 6. What? Oh, savage. That's crazy.
And then you do that.
Unreal. Okay. Now it's the
Cool.
Canadian flag without a leaf in the
Swag.
middle. Great.
Fantastic.
Don't let me lose track of what I was going to say.
Yeah,
Oh, it's the
SpongeBob.
SpongeBob. So you're like, oh, it's not old SpongeBob. It's all shitty new seasons 5 and 6 SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Well, I was looking through them and I'm like, oh, there's like nothing good. None of these I know. Yeah, that's all right. And then I saw like the normal one where SpongeBob's like, I'm normal, and he's all smooth and like,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Like that was like the one gem in like all those ones I was looking through.
Yeah.
But like the thing you're just saying about Lex, where it's like, yeah, that's something Lex. Where it's like, there's a line where Squidward's talking to him, he's like, "Oh, like so you're normal now?" He's like, "Yeah." And he does these quick, quiet little like, "Yeah," little yas back to him, but it's like it's so like perfect, like it's just like this tiny little kind of gem joke and like
Yeah.
an otherwise like pretty funny episode, but
Sometimes,
just like
and especially with that like whole idea, less is more sometimes.
it is, yeah, it was very subtle. I don't know.
Like when, yeah, if you've got like a whole audience, I don't know why I laid down again. When you've got a whole audience expecting you to say something and everything gets quiet, like you can say something so simple and so just like
One dog foot sticking out. Yeah, you can say something really just like bare bones, like a
and
very
yeah, and it's kind of dependent on the people who are with you as well. Like you're kind of only as funny as the people you're with, like, or at least like yeah, because
you need like good kind of interaction. Like you have to have people that kind of are your same. Are you talking about just like kind of having a funny conversation? In
no, I
general?
just mean like you like if you, I don't know, like there's some crowds that you've been in where you don't tell a joke, you make a quip or a one-liner,
Yeah.
and it just doesn't land, and you feel so dumb and
Oh, I
so
know.
like not funny,
Yeah.
and like not to be like every guy ever, but like one of my sole purposes is to want to be funny.
You know what's a weird thing is like I feel like it'd be cool if like at 40 I just become like a very successful comedian and I can be like, yeah, I always thought I was like kind of funny. I was always just trying to be funny in all these situations, but like there's this huge part of me where I'm just like I always need to make jokes and I gotta like think of like kind of just weird sort of, I don't want to say clever because that sounds like self-congratulating, but
Yeah.
like kind of like little funny things about everything because it's just like that's how my brain works. It's almost like I'm kind of trying to entertain like just like an audience in my head or something,
Like yourself almost
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well, and it's totally born of like our dad like
Oh, it's
making
so true.
jokes all the time, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, if dad wasn't, and mom too, because like I feel bad for mom because like she'd always like make jokes and then dad would be like, yeah, you think that's funny? Now's my joke. And
Yeah.
then he'd be like, haha, and we'd all be like, haha, because we're guys. It's like there's like this
It's
guy
totally
sense
different.
of humor.
yeah.
And then mom would be like sad because her joke wasn't like, it was kind of shown up. And I'm like, that happens so many times, like growing up. Like,
Yeah.
it still sort of happens every now and then. But that's because dad's like a comedian at heart almost, where he just like, he needs to get those laughs and kind of go for that, like,
Yeah.
you know.
Josh takes it too far.
What do you
like,
mean?
Well, okay, like you know where I gotta take like a
Josh, our
2
brother.
seconds, yeah.
It's
But
fine.
but basically, Josh will take it too far, and if we get on a string of puns where we're trying to like do play on words,
Yeah.
he'll just like sit, and you can see in his eyes that he's just like concentrating the universe on like a selection of words to like continue on, and like if he says one, he'll sit down again and like try to keep going until there's nothing left, and it's like it
Oh my
gets to a
gosh.
point where it's like so abstract
I
and
can't even,
so
like-
obscure, it's no longer
Maybe I'd like think like that I can relate to that if like I could think of like Josh doing that, but like that sounds so like random to me. Like I can't picture
Yeah.
Josh having that sort of thing.
but it's always it's
Here, I'll
happened a
pause
few
this.
times.
Okay, commercial
But,
break. No commercials.
Let's pause again. There we
Okay,
go.
it's recording again. Okay.
Woo!
I was gonna say about being a kid. You're
Yes.
talking about like comedy and making jokes and stuff or whatever.
And we're back.
And we're back. I was thinking like when I was younger, I didn't like being more not like antisocial in school, but like I was like quieter. What I would do is I'd like bide my time. Like I wouldn't be talking all the time, trying to make jokes all the time. I'd notice I wouldn't say much, and then I'd wait for like a funny thing to say.
Yeah.
And then I'd say it, and like sometimes like everyone would laugh so much more than I was expecting.
And it feels so good.
It's like this weird rush, but it would also sort of overwhelm me, whereas like I wasn't expecting it, so I kind of couldn't like be like, yeah, like I'm so cool. I'd be like, ha, and I'd almost get embarrassed that I like made everyone laugh so hard. And then so I'm like, oh, that's what you do. You just like wait for your moment to strike.
Yeah.
And then I would do that, and like you said, I'd like tell a joke thinking it was gonna like bomb, or you know, like everyone would react to it really well, and it would just bomb, and there'd just be like this like lull where it's like, oh fuck, like I just never say
Yeah.
anything. And then the thing
It's
I
like you
said was
killed
not
someone.
great.
Like
It was even worse because I'm not making jokes all the time.
yeah.
Whereas now I feel like even like people I work with or like with you and like friends and family and stuff,
Yeah.
it's like I'm kind of just always making not great jokes, and then like one of them will be pretty good.
Yeah.
Rather than just like try to make perfect jokes all the time.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it's kind of funny. But
it's,
anyway,
it's not like a shotgun approach because I mean it sort of is, but like I think it's also because I think if you think of stuff and you don't say it, it's almost like bad for you, you know? Like
yeah, it's just
like you
good to
shouldn't
get
just
it out as
say
you're thinking
everything
it.
that yeah.
No, yeah.
It's like you shouldn't say everything that comes to your head, but like for sure if it was the same for me, like I used to just talk and and like I wasn't like a chatterbox. Maybe I was. Anyway, but at a certain point I was like, "Oh, people don't like people who talk all the time, especially
Yeah.
people who like are just consistently saying dumb shit." So I was like, "Why don't I just stay quiet until I have something like meaningful to say?" And yeah, it was the same with you. And so basically I just did that. But the crappy thing is I couldn't like turn the clocks back and I couldn't like be more social again.
Right.
I just like got kind of stuck as like a
Do you feel like you went through like a sort of like an angsty teenager kind of phase? Because I'll be like, I don't want to be like, well, I'll be honest. It's just like I remember you going through this phase where you were kind of like you were kind of quieter and you were kind of grumpier and kind of more like cynical about stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like it wasn't like weird or surprising or anything. And it wasn't like I know how like just growing up is so well that I just figured that was that. But I'm just like, oh yeah, it's just like kind of how you're going through, you know, those years of your life.
No, totally.
But, like, it was so funny. Like it wasn't like you're ever like awful to be around or anything. I just noticed there was like this couple year kind of period in between you being a teenager and kind of being like an adult where you're
it was like 17 or no, yeah,
felt
it was
around
16
like
to 18
16,
sort of.
17, 18 maybe.
But I don't think as much 18, probably like 15 to 17 or something. I forget when, but I definitely remember.
But it's also probably when you were like your confidence was kind of gaining.
No.
Like, no, really? Not at all. You're like you're least feeling good about yourself.
Yeah. Oh god, yeah, it was
I don't know. I thought it'd just be like when you're realizing you're like, I gotta be like serious now to be taken seriously as like an adult or whatever. Like, am I gonna start being an adult soon? Was it nothing like that?
It was like I was just kind of pissed off at everything. Like,
why are you so mad, man?
I don't know. Like I just like, yeah, I guess I was really angsty.
I wouldn't say like that's just the word that gets thrown around a lot. It was more just like.
And it's
Did
such
you,
like an
like
insulting.
carefully organize that? Because that
Maybe.
looked like hyper like OCD.
Yeah, I did.
Just his little pile of stuff.
I've
not that bad.
At home, like in my room, I like that tray that I
Yeah,
got.
how's that working for you?
It's working great. Like
Nice.
I don't always have everything in it because sometimes I'm like wearing something or whatever. But like,
Is there like a chalk outline of the thing that's not
no,
in there?
it's not like a crime scene.
Sorry.
That'd take way too much effort. But yeah, like I do like things to be organized. But yeah, like being a teenager, I totally just maybe it was because I never like I feel like I just had a huge stick up my ass for like
Really?
well, cuz I I never smoked weed. I never like I still haven't spoilers.
I haven't today.
No, but like I didn't smoke weed, I didn't drink.
Yeah.
I was like such a stick in the mud, and I was like super focused on doing well in school, but also frustrated that I like wasn't like perfect.
Right.
And
Pretty high expectations for yourself about shit.
yeah, and at the same time like really scared and frustrated about like what I was gonna do with my life.
Yeah.
And just my hormones were just like making me hate everyone. Like
How about not to like topic jump
was,
so much?
That was the crux of when I was like the biggest asshole to Josh.
To Josh?
Yeah.
Right. That makes
Like,
sense.
Like it's still got like aftershocks, like I'll still kind of pick on him, but
Were you
it's
like,
much
were you like mad
lighter.
at Josh for any reasons or anything?
No,
or?
like it was just easy to pick on him. Like I you know.
I remember living at home and being like younger, and like I probably picked on like Josh if I picked on anyone. Not so much you, because there was that gap where it was like it was
wasn't
meaner.
really fair.
But like I remember, I can't remember what, but I remember picking on Josh or bugging Josh about stuff because it's like fun to bully people sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, and if it's your brother and you don't feel like you're really doing
Like there's
anything
a reason
other
why
than just
people do it.
yeah, like it's got like a weird little rush to it where you just like
Sure it's
there's a
born
power
of your own
trip.
insecurities.
Yeah, of course.
So like it's like an outlet.
Yeah.
So I mean everyone does it to some extent. Like
I remember doing it to people in a way in like high school, kind of like not like later high school, like middle kind of high school, like grade like 9 or 10 or something.
Mhm.
But there were people that was like nerdier than me, and so I'd kind of like I wouldn't make fun of them, but I'd like have I ever told you the story about there's this kid named Kyle, and we always told him he was a tree. Okay, this is like this is how stupid. I'll tell a quick story. So I had this drafting class, and I shared a class with Kyle Gropp, who's this like really funny like tall dude, who's also sort of like nerdy-ish, but he was just kind of like he was like zany and like crazy.
okay.
And then this other kid named Kyle, I think as well, and
Which one was the
Kyle
one?
Gropp we just called G.
Okay.
So G and
Yeah.
like Kyle, and like Kyle basically like was kind of like nerdier and like kind of just like quieter, but like we wouldn't like me and G wouldn't like necessarily pick on him, but we'd say like stupid like grade 9 shit where it's like I don't even know where it originated from, but it was like Kyle, you're a like we'd call him like a thing like a either like a lobster or a crayfish or something, and he'd be like what? And
Like
we're
early
like
2000s.
yeah,
Like weird
and
insults.
then we'd be like, actually, Kyle, you're a tree, and he's like, I'm not a tree. So like that's just it's the simplest thing. It's like call someone a thing that they don't like being called, even if it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
There was no reason behind why we called him a tree. It was just like that's stuck in my head forever now that we used to call this kid Kyle a tree, and like I would never say that like I would take it to a point where he was like really upset.
Yeah.
But we kind of just like lightly, just like
But it's so hard to tell because to you, right?
Yeah.
Like it's different being in that.
I knew at the time I was kind of being like a bit of a douche, but like it wasn't like that dude would ever talk to me or something.
And it's not like you ruined his life.
Yeah.
Like he now,
doesn't actually think he's a real tree right now.
like,
Sorry if I cut off your awesome
no,
joke.
no, he's just like he's standing in a forest, like waiting, like
He's just telling himself he's not a tree.
he's like carving like his name into himself with
Oh,
like a knife, hoping that it'll.
Speaking of which, just hang tight for a sec. I'll show you a picture
Okay.
from a little while back. Little story is that I work with this guy, and
Is it the dumb cat?
no, also don't say that, man. You're not supposed to say that. This poor cat died. It's not a dumb cat. I didn't
Tell
make...
that to the comic you made.
Anyway, I actually painted a picture of his cat for him.
Did you finish it?
Like a collage thing. I never took a picture of it, so it's gone. I already
Dang
gave
it.
it to him. It doesn't really matter.
Let's go.
I'm over paranoid. I don't want anyone to like,
Not like
That's
you.
why I'm not saying so many names sometimes for stuff where it's like, I don't know. Okay, so long story short, this guy I work with, and we always joke about like random shit, kind of like killing each other or like just random silly
Yeah,
kind of cartoonish,
as you do.
as normal with John Mulaney. But anyway, so like I drew a picture for him of like, I forget what the context was, but like it's a picture of me being carved by like a giant knife, which is like anthropomorphized, and like using Chris to carve me. So this is the picture.
So sort of like that scene in Rick and Morty.
It's like a weird sort of reverse thing where it's like a giant knife with arms
I
and
want to
legs.
zoom in.
You might have to double tap. No, hold on. How do you? You can't. That's all you can really see. But anyway, so it's just like
You're so small.
It's like, well, I drew it really up close and then I zoomed out.
Wow.
So a giant knife with arms and legs is using Chris's like round head to carve like my gut, and there's blood coming out and stuff, and I'm screaming and I'm on a table. Anyway. I'm like the
So
king
are,
of like
are you big or
ADD.
I mean, is the knife big or are you small?
None of this is interesting to anyone that can't see this picture, so never mind. I just thought I'd show you that and then have to talk out loud about it because it's be dead air as I just showed you this picture.
Yeah.
What were you saying right before that though?
Oh man, bullying people. I don't know, like.
Oh, carving, like that Kyle kid who was carving something into himself
I don't
because he
know,
thinks
like,
he's a tree.
Yeah, some lame.
But maybe getting back to like growing up and like maybe not necessarily Josh, but like Josh, their brother, by the way.
Yeah.
Brother named Josh. Anyway.
Josh, last name that we have.
Schmidt. Schmidt DeWitt.
Schmidt's are not. Schmidt isn't our last
It's
name.
not real. It's not real is our name, really. Yeah, not all these are good jokes. They're just gonna be some stuff we say. You know, the less I think of that people are actually listening to this, the more fun this is.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
The
Well, I
second
mean,
ever-
like, I don't plan on anyone, or like, I think I actually got my girlfriend to listen to one of these.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
Is it kind of like boring
the
for
one on
her,
Suicide
or
Squad. I think she was. I just kind of realized about like a minute in how weird it was that I was listening to myself talk with
Right,
her,
right.
and I was like, I don't like this.
Yeah.
This is too strange.
I got a music program where I can like, because I got this mic, I can like make music and also record vocals and like try to make a song.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the worst thing ever. It's like the audio equivalent of like looking at yourself in a mirror to make yourself somehow like look like more attractive than you are or something. It's really weird because like trying to sing, it's like my
even
voice.
though we haven't like tried putting makeup on, it'd be like
I would
using
scooch
like
a little closer.
it'd be like
Sorry, man.
using a funhouse mirror to like put makeup on. Like,
Yeah, well, it's just like I don't know how to sing properly, like as good as like an actual person, like that can sing really well.
Mhm.
How lame was that sentence just now? Anyway, like it was gonna say, it was like
if I
I'm
had
self-conscious of my voice.
if I had an eagle's eyes, I could see as well as an eagle.
as an eagle could do, or something. That's great.
Yeah.
So at work, this is totally
Oh.
different.
Oh. Okay. That's okay.
Me and Chris were talking about. We're trying to like come up with a joke where it's like, so stormtroopers can't shoot very well, right?
Right.
Like their aim is terrible.
Yeah.
And like, what's like a joke about that? We were like trying to come up with a joke.
Yeah.
And like, it's like the hardest joke ever. Actually, fuck that. Never mind. I don't even want to talk about the thing I was going to talk about. I thought it'd be funny somehow, and then we could come up with a joke for it, but it's just such a fucking waste of time. Let's go back 15 seconds
Okay.
to where you were going to say a thing about something else.
How about we talk about super iconic movies or franchises that you have no interest in?
Okay. Or have never seen, maybe,
Yeah,
or never
yeah.
want to see.
Yeah.
Like, one day I want to watch, like, the first Die Hard, but I've never seen any Die Hards.
No, me neither. But it makes more sense that I haven't because I'm far younger
Like
than you.
12.
Yeah.
No, you're 12 to me somehow.
Yeah.
Stupid younger brother syndrome. Just can't get it out of my head that you're not like even a teenager
I'm still
anymore.
like 17.
No, you're
Dad's like 48 forever.
not. Okay, you're like
Mom's 54 still.
You're like 17. Josh is like 19 or 20. Jen's like
Josh is 19 or 20. No.
no, it's like 30.
That's how.
I'm gonna be 30 next year. Yeah. So anyway,
Oh, my wrists.
yeah. Do you want to switch places?
Yeah,
You can sit in the comfy chair.
okay.
All right.
If you want to.
Just watch that cord.
Actually, let's.
I'm gonna bring my rolly chair over. Hold on.
Okay. Let's use this opportunity to take a break.
Okay.
No. We could.
Welcome back.
Play some games after that. All right, welcome back. So we just finished watching some Justin Roiland VR,
It was so fucking funny.
and I just love his voice. Like, and
He's one of those immediately like I want to just mimic him all day.
yeah,
Like I've started like I find that people I like that have a certain way of talking, like I'll try to like mimic them, like the Weekly Planet thing, like the Mr. Sunday Movies guy.
yeah,
I talk like that sometimes. I can't speak like with a Australian accent, but I try.
yeah.
Or, like just the way I react to things. Like someone will be like, "Oh, that's not good," and I'll be like, "Oh," I'll be like
Yeah.
really excited. That kind of like But
Um,
Justin Roiland, man.
Yeah.
What a guy.
Such a funny asshole. He yeah.
Is his have you ever seen his photo on IMDb?
I think so. Is it his like face covered in shit?
It's probably like pudding, but it's been like that. Okay, so I heard about Justin Roiland like
years ago,
just when Rick and Morty just came out,
which was years ago.
Years ago now, and
Years ago.
I'm pretty sure if you look at his like picture, there's something funny about it that I have to like read or something. It's like, so let's see.
He might have like chosen it for himself.
Oh, it changed.
Does he not have one now? Maybe they took it down.
Interesting.
Are
It
there
was for the longest time. It was like that
photos?
shit thing.
There should be photos. Just
click
says one
that.
photo.
Oh, what the shit? Fuck off. No.
Are we still recording?
Yeah. Just looking at IMDb to see if he was still covered in like chocolate pudding poop stuff. What, I can't look at this stuff? Anyway, maybe they changed an aspect of that thing, but anyway.
Okay, would you rather have, because like lately with some of my friends, they're going through like just kind of growing pains of moving out and stuff.
Yeah.
And like really like emotionally stressful for them. Not
Right.
for me yet, because I'm kind of in like a decent, comfortable place.
Yeah.
But like a super comfortable place, like almost too comfortable.
You're rolling in the Hamilton, so to speak.
Yeah, the Canadian Hamiltons. So yeah, but like, would you rather have emotion, or like, would you rather have the extreme emotion or the complete opposite? Like, would you rather have no emotion or just like the complete opposite, like hardcore all the time, like
I don't
extreme,
know.
almost bipolar to the like most 10th degree?
I'll say for me personally, I used to have such like a kind of an inner, not like a sadness or a loneliness, but this sort of just like, it just really didn't feel good most of the time about stuff for myself. And it took me like years of just kind of like, I spent a lot of time trying to like make myself feel like better about myself by just kind of internally just trying to boost my own ego, you know, just to not feel so shitty all the time about, you know, confidence and stuff like that. But now, and I've probably told you this before, I feel much less like kind of emotional in terms of like how it used to be. Like I feel like detached sometimes from like how I should feel about stuff. Like feel almost numb to like
everything.
Like, hey, time's passing by. Let's do some stuff with our lives. It's like, more. Like I feel pretty just like, I feel like this okayness most of the time.
Yeah.
Maybe even when I shouldn't. So,
because you kind of like,
just speaking from experience, like it sucks when you're like out of whack or you're like really emotional about stuff or you're having a hard time with shit or there's just always seems to be drama. But like the opposite isn't like great.
Yeah, like neither is great. I feel like
otherwise you're not like a fun person to know.
Yeah.
That's kind of the thing is like no one wants to like really hang around with someone who's just super neutral and boring and doesn't really feel a lot of stuff about stuff.
Yeah.
It's almost, you're better off having like these real people with like some drama and shit.
But it's hard because you kind of want to, you kind of envy people who feel more. Like you don't, because you see how shitty it is and like how destructive it is, but you kind of want to be like, have intense feelings. I know there's some Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows thing on like the need or like the fear that you'll never feel the, like there's only a limited amount of firsts and like first times, and like all the feelings that you've had are like, every feeling you're going to have is something you've already felt before. Yeah. And that like it's just kind of, you're not going to experience anything new, which is not true, but there's
definitely a lot less like sort of wonder to the world like the older you get, it seems. And like
especially in this age.
Yeah, it's true. And there's things that are good about that and things that are bad. And I think like the good things is like there's less like, it depends on like the life you lead because everyone's doing different things. There's people that are my age that are just like hardcore workaholics, like Steph works like all the time, and she's sort of like likes it that way more.
Yeah.
Whereas I need that weird sort of space in between to kind of rest and contemplate shit and just like think about stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe
and
I
there's
think I
nothing
need
like
that, but
better about either, really.
no, that's the thing. Is the grass is always greener on the other side, and like there's no kind of 100% win to any situation, like in terms of like how you're kind of emotionally stable or what you're kind of I don't know. Yeah, but you know, like there's things that help, which is just like just being okay with who you are or who like how like you
Being,
gotta
like,
just
honest with yourself.
you gotta have like an internal kind of version of yourself that can kind of like talk you down like when you're really stressed out, because there's not always going to be someone there for you for that, and like they're not always going to say it the way you kind of need. I don't know, like I think you have to be pretty in touch with your own
and there's always like
head.
a middle ground, and like you need to find that balance, because if you put yourself in like so much stress, you can just break, right? But if you never do like what I'm doing, where I just kind of like I keep to myself, I don't really get new friends, like I'm just content and like what's the word I was thinking of earlier, I'm kind of apathetic about like changing anything, because because everything's okay, so why improve it, because I feel like this is like the best it's gonna be. I know it's not.
I totally know what you're saying.
But you need to make yourself uncomfortable, because if you just kind of like live in this soup of neutrality, then not net neutrality, of regularness and like just day-to-day everything, like you'll just like the neutralness will like fade away, and like I feel like the repetition will just like eat away at you. Repetition
can be a motherfucker, and also I found like if I could sum it up in a way that's like kind of relatable, just it's like what feels good, like sitting around as if it's like a Saturday afternoon where you don't have to work or something, eating food you want to eat, and watching like a really good movie on like TV, and maybe playing a video game, and maybe going to the mall or something like that. If you do that every single day, you're not going to feel that great, because you're not like even adding something like exercise, like this sort of weird, challenging, uncomfortable thing to your like kind of daily routine. It like mixes it up. It physically makes you feel better, because you're actually like taking care of the body. That like there's this weird imbalance where you're just like, I'll just like feed myself things that make me feel good.
Yeah,
like
I'll just
movies
feed my mind.
Yeah, I'll feed my mind and my sort of like weird receptors for like pleasure. Whereas like if you don't just take care of the other shit,
the rest of
sucks,
it, the rest of the like 80% of your mass,
something that's not covered in sugar, and you're gonna feel like a little better if you do that all the time. Go on like a jog every now and then, like I've been trying to do lately, and I just feel like happier, and I feel like less hesitant to do those weird and challenging things. Like if I just kind of it's never like you never have a moment where you're like, oh, I don't want to go on a run, because you're always gonna have that like party that just wants to be lazier.
Yeah.
You know? So
the hardest part is getting the ball rolling, right?
Yeah. So apply that to other things, like with say like your social circle, or like your employment, your career, or like your creativity, or just kind of like your like mix your brain up, mix your life up, and just kind of like don't get too satisfied being like, you know, like just doing the same thing all the time and living in this safe kind of small bubble, because like in the end your overall kind of experience is going to be like more limited, and the like risks are like worth like for the rewards that you get from doing these like, you know, challenging things. But
I'm sure it's not the easiest thing to size it up, because like if say like deciding to go for a run is like a much easier decision than deciding what like career you're gonna do. Right?
No
like
shit.
It's like it's easier to start certain things, but like if you start small enough, like with a run, you don't fucking run a marathon like the first time ever. Like you size up, and like,
and you sort of just take it.
It's hard to see what the small version is, because all you're used to is these like big scale things.
Yeah.
And you're just like so like oversaturated with this this image of like what you need to be at, but you kind of forget about the in between.
I feel like universally, if I like, I've always thought that like when you get to a certain age, you sort of know what you should be doing or could be doing to make your life more ideal for what you want, but you overthink all the things involved, and you just go, then I shouldn't take that step. Like, this is what I think the answer to almost everything is that if you want to get from point A, which is down below on the flat plane of this imaginary thing I'm gonna explain to you, and you want to get to, it's like stairs. It's like to get to B, which is like a better place. You can't fucking jump that distance, but you can take a step every so often that gets you closer and closer to that goal. And whether those steps be like you take some classes so that you can have this skill to do a certain job that'll make you more money, and maybe that'll make you happier, or even if it's just something as like a passion of yours where you're like, I like to do fucking karate, like, but I can't just like be a karate master like within a year just because. It's like you have to just do those little shitty little tasks and uncomfortable kind of steps. That's the only way you're gonna kind of get to like the places you want to be at.
And
so that's the hard part. It's just like you got to take those steps without looking towards the top of the fucking end game the whole time, being like, well, what if I slip, or what if I'm not taking the right stairs? It's like, just keep taking small steps and you'll get to where you want to get to. But if you overthink it, you're gonna fuck it all up.
And not to bum anyone out,
I overthink
but, like,
it all the time. I fuck it up all the time.
I haven't even taken the first like
just in concept
step.
It's a good plan.
But like the scary part about it is that if there's like a path that you want to take, it's like an endless staircase, but people don't like to see it as that because they want to see like a point that they can reach, and then once they're there, they're like, okay, I'm content. But once you're there, you kind of hit this apathy again, and you need to continue pushing and like strive for more. So like what you're really looking at is just a staircase that goes forever. But like you kind of like you need it to go forever, because if there was a top, like you'd have to just stay there.
Your happiness could essentially peak.
And like the staircase also branches so that if you're like headed somewhere, you don't have to continue along that path. Like it's like going along a staircase opens you up to another option that you wouldn't get from the bottom, right? So it's like there's no right way.
There's always going to be like a struggle. And if you go like, I wish I didn't have to struggle, then it's like, but
you're
then
just like a slug.
You'd become like a static, thing where it's like you wouldn't really enjoy life the same way.
No.
It's like video game cheats. It's like everyone wants to know what the fucking cheats are in Grand Theft Auto so you can have all the cars. But how fun is it playing Grand Theft Auto for a couple months, slowly, properly without cheating, getting all the cars, and finally one day you just have all those cars in your collection. You're like, I did it.
Or you like find one.
It's a fucking video game. It's not real. But that satisfaction was so much more worth it than just putting up, down, left, A, start or whatever, and just having them all immediately. Like, it's the fucking journey that's awesome. Not having all those cars. At the end of the day, you're like, I have all the cars, but like I've driven them so much that it's not fun now. It's just, it was fun earning all that shit. It's fun challenging yourself and shit.
The difficulty is what makes something
put it on easy
feel worthwhile.
It's so much easier when it's on easy.
It's like if you're playing a game on difficult and you do it, like sure you might be frustrated by the end of it because of that, but like it's
everything's got a flip side too. It's like some people's like mentalities are like, oh, if I just like have everything like really, really hard for me, it'll make me that much tougher as a person. And then it just like that lifestyle just destroys them, because it's like you can't sustain that level of like stress on yourself, both in like body and mind. Like some people are like, I'm just gonna fucking be a mechanic, like 80 hours a week, just making all this like money and just like work, and then they like die because they're just like so fucking overworked. It's like you have to balance. Like everything's a balance, man.
It's so hard too. And the fact that like even though you want stuff to be fair and you can like work super hard, you can get killed in like a car accident tomorrow. Like
I rate that 5 stars.
No,
That's
like
all right.
you can get killed in the car accident
Oh,
tomorrow,
yeah.
and like there's nothing you can do about it.
No.
And like you just kind of, and that's the reason why you can't hope for this like this utopia paradise moment where you're like, okay, everything's good, because if you don't reach that and you're on your deathbed, you're gonna be like, oh fuck, like you're gonna be so unhappy. And we shouldn't get into death, but like next time,
Why not? It's so funny.
But yeah, like you'll feel so empty because you didn't do that. Whereas if you are constantly like making small goals for yourself that you're reaching,
Yeah.
then you'll have so much more fulfillment. And yeah, it's
weird. It's weird how much you can like philosophize to about shit that's sort of like it does sort of apply to you and is based off your own experiences, but it's like all these things you know without really having to read it somewhere.
Like when someone on a podcast, for example, like we're probably saying something that a dude wrote like 700 years ago.
Probably just mimicking shit I heard like a week ago.
Yeah, right? Like everyone's in the same boat is the funny thing. Like not completely like different countries and social status, but
we're all so similar too.
Yeah, and everyone thinks similarly, and it's sort of the beauty of it that you have that in a roundabout way everyone kind of gets you, and like everyone sort of understands, and yeah.
I'll end this with some like really trippy thing that Duncan Trussell talked about on his thing.
Yeah,
because he knows a lot about like Indian. I think you click that if you want to see where we're at.
All right.
Like the other thing actually. I
No,
just fucked everything up.
I just opened iTunes.
Fuck you! You just fucked it all up, Eric.
Oh boy.
You can close that and then close that.
Oh.
And hopefully it didn't like slow down the process or whatever, but it should be fine.
No.
That mic picture. There you go. It's just deleted. The idea is that like I forget from what kind of Indian kind of like and as in like East Indian sort of like mythology or whatever, but it's like basically like the great illusion is that we're all different people and we're all like separate, but their like mythology is like we were all one, we were all basically like God, and then something happened and we got like fucking shattered into like thousands and millions of different pieces of ourselves,
shapes,
and like the ultimate like what'll bring us all together is for us to all realize we're all like in this weird sort of hippie way, we're all each other, like we're all like we feel close to people that we're like related to and friends with and have similar things about, because it's like because you realize how similar you are and how much that you empathize with each other. And like the thing that they said was basically you're all just like pieces of this one thing, but you're also all the same thing, you know. And I like that outlook, because that's like people want to have these weird sort of mentalities where it's like, oh, it's us versus them, and this country versus that country, and this race versus
kind
that.
of us
like,
versus us.
Yeah, it's like we're all the same fucking, you know, like there's evil people and shit, but like
at the end of the day, if
we'd all be so much better off if we just had this like super
if we all died. Oh.
Yeah. Let's end it all.
No, yeah, but
let's end this podcast.
Yeah, let's do it. So yeah. So hope you guys enjoyed it. So did we. And yeah.
I think as a closing statement too, I feel
the
like
second one.
well, yeah, like an 18th one. We'll maybe get some sort of good format. Like I find like podcasts at work are ones that just kind of like
they flow.
Yeah, they flow. I don't know. I guess we're still just like figuring out what we're sort of gonna be, without trying to mimic anyone. Because I'm kind of hyper. What's it called? Like I'm paranoid that I'm just gonna end up being like someone else.
Hypersensitive to. Yeah.
To fire. Well. Fire.
If you copy someone, like you gotta draw from like everybody, and if like I know Cliff Martinez or Chris Cliff, fuck I forget his name. He's the person who did the soundtrack for Drive and Only God Forgives, like some Nicholas Winding Refn. No one knows how to pronounce his name. In an interview, I believe you. I've never heard of it. He said that for this one song, people were like, how did you find the composer for this? Or like, how did you compose this? And he's like, well, I stole from Philip Glass and this other guy, and I mixed the two people together, and when I did, like, I'm no longer stealing because I'm like, so long as you take it from more than one source, it's basically yours pretty much.
That's true. And there's always going to be this part of you and your individual kind of persona that is just going to seep through the stuff you do.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that's kind of what happens with
to.
us, where it's like it'll just kind of, it'll evolve on its own.
Yeah, and we'll figure out like what we talk about. I like talking about movies though.
Me too.
Yeah.
We should talk about movies more.
Yeah.
This was just more of a departure where we got to kind of just like not talk about one single thing.
Yeah, and I really liked it because it does feel somewhat limiting. Maybe we could do potentially like a movie talk and then just like a casual thing that's a lot more loose.
Yeah, and I'm sure we can kind of have just like a loose sort of a like a topic we'll kind of like go off
and then try to stay on topic because we kind of
and that's fine.
Yeah,
but like we could maybe say like like what a lot of people do is just like what's like could have been a better ending for some movie or some like just like a sort of some sort of box to kind of stay in, but also we can just kind of go in and out of it. It doesn't matter. But let's end it so we can go on a walk or something.
Okay. So long, folks.
Signing off. Catchphrase.
Good day.
Good day. Okay.
No, what's our catchphrase? We need to come up with a catchphrase.
Okay.
It's
Is it just dead air? Is what we'll be like, and as always, and then we'll just turn it off?
No, we should end it when make it seem like be like, I can't turn that's like
that's like the catchphrase.
Yeah, it's like I can't fucking
I just can't. Yeah, I don't know.
I just can't.
I just can't, man.
No, that should be it. I just can't.
Okay, well, this is going
Can
nowhere.
you guys? I can't.
Okay, this is
it's been
Eric
a long
and
one.
Jeff signing off, currently with a fan base of 0. Have a great day.
See ya.
Okay, bye.